Okay, there we go. We're live.
Hello.
Welcome to our doTERRA business Q&A. We're excited to have you. We're excited to dive into a bunch more topics today.
Welcome on Instagram. We're going to pull up Instagram as well today. So we're on both YouTube and Instagram. Welcome. Good to see you guys. We'll be looking this way and this way today because we're both on Instagram and on YouTube. Okay, we're excited for our Q&A today. Last week was incredible. It was awesome. Oh, looks like I have some.
Yep, we're good. Okay, so last week was great. We had some great questions, and we're able to give a lot of great answers. Well, I don't know if they were great answers.
People seemed happy.
But we're excited. So for those of you who are hopping on right now, the intention for this call is, we've had a lot of people both on our team, but honestly, mostly we wanted to open this up also for people who are not on our doTERRA team because our team gets a lot of us. But we've been getting all sorts of questions about all sorts of things related to the doTERRA business. And so we decided to just set this up to every single week, go live on Friday or almost every single week, and just open it up for questions. We have still probably a dozen questions that were pre-submitted that we didn't get to last week, so we're going to go through some of those. And then also we do give priority. We want to give priority to your questions here live. And so if you're here live, we want to reward the time that you're giving to show up, and we want to answer your question here live. So we're going to go for probably 45 minutes, maybe up to an hour, depending on how many questions we have. So feel free to share this video with your teams, ask any questions you would like related to the doTERRA business. And with that, I think we can dig in.
Yeah.
I can't see Instagram very good, so maybe you can just manage the Instagram chat, and I'll look at
Portuguese questions
YouTube.
Portuguese coming in.
Yeah, and this is all going to be in English, so
okay.
I can do a different Q&A on our Portuguese channel later, but we're going to do a business Q&A in English here today. Okay, so Seantay, here's our first question. We've got
your thoughts on
structure. Some diamonds teach power of 3 first to silver, but they personally didn't. By platinum structure was stated should be power of 3 $1,500 each month. Some teach structure to premier first, then fill in with power of 3. Would like to know what's duplicatable with best results. So I'm going to give you my opinion on this question, and then Seantay can give you her opinion on this question. And one thing I want to just call out about the way this question was worded is it says, some diamonds teach power of 3 first to silver, but they personally didn't. And so I think you kind of have your mind made up a little bit about what you think would be best, and that's fine, and that's great. I will say with structure, this is one of the things that is a more complex aspect to building a doTERRA business, and something that you get to learn, and you get to learn by messing up a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So I always say, you will never find a diamond where you log into their back office and you see that it's just perfectly structured, beautiful. Actually, I think every diamond would say, wow, what a mess I created with my structuring. And so that's just a part of the process. But when it comes to teaching and what to teach, my personal opinion, a lot of people, they have this question of, should I build out power of 3 first, which means focusing on 3 legs, or should I focus on premier, which means you're primarily focused on 2 legs? And my personal opinion is you should build for all of the doTERRA bonuses. Okay. So to me, the best premier is a premier who's earning their power of 3. And we know that there's 2 requirements. You need to have 2 legs of executive, and then a 3rd leg that's doing, then you have to have at least 5,000 in volume. So that could be 1 leg of 3,000, 1 leg of 2,000. I like it when it's at least 2 legs of 2,000 and a 3rd leg of 1,000 to create that premier. And I think that's the fastest way to progress from premier to silver, is if you're already intentionally building out towards that.
Yeah, I feel like so many times people are focusing on one rank that they take so long then to transition to the next rank. And that gap period of time building a whole new leg up to the rank that they need to be to hit elite, and then you have 3 legs going up to become platinum, then that gap to diamond can be really large. And so that's why, like, to say that all these diamonds, they haven't done it, but they teach this, like, obviously they want to teach a good principle. Like, it's a good principle to be keeping in mind the power of 3, because it's the fastest way that you can make the largest amount of money.
With the least amount of people in your organization.
People, yeah. And so that is a very good teaching. It's very, very true. And you're going to run into your own, you're going to find certain people that are wanting to do the business with you at different times than other people. And so that process is just about being aware of the power of 3 and focusing on that.
Yeah, so I build for both at the same time because the truth is they work together. They don't work against each other the way that some people think.
But I think when it would work against each other is if you're like, okay, I've found a third builder. I just don't know if I should be placing them under my 2 legs to really solidify a premier, or if I should be placing them on my front line. And that's not really the right question, because we don't place people based off of ranking. If you're placing based off of your ranking, then you might be ignoring some important principles. We want to place based off of the person's needs and their qualifications. And so you always want to make sure that you're reserving your front line for those who are committed and qualified builders. And you can know that through, a myriad of different ways. But if you do find another great builder, then
it's time.
Put them on the front line.
That's a good point. Is with structure, one of the things that we always recommend to people at the beginning is those 3 people you're really looking to filter through the people who are raising their hand and saying they want to use the products, they want to do the business, and find the people who you think are the most committed, the most capable, they have the most potential. And so as you're building, like, you might hit premier before you start your 3rd leg if you haven't found a 3rd committed person, right? But if you find in your first week 3 awesome committed people who all feel like they all want to work towards this, then start your power of 3 your first week, right? Start earning that bonus on your second month. And so that's the only thing I'll say is for power of 3, you don't want to start a 3rd leg just for the sake of earning the power of 3, but it should be your goal to have that 3rd person as fast as possible, if that makes sense. So I think that answers that question. And it's a great question, and it's asked all the time. It's really interesting. I think that some leaders must really push one or the other. To me, like, it doesn't make sense to choose one bonus over another when you can just earn both, right? So that should be the focus in my mind. Okay, this one's for Seantay. Seantay, how to move forward and not worry about what other people think. How to up-level my integrity to stretch and grow. I need feedback, and good feedback. I need encouragement.
Okay, can we just leave it on there for a sec?
Yep.
Okay, so there's a couple things in here. Great question. When you're saying how to not worry about what other people think, is this people within your business? Is this people outside of your business? Either way, the answer is, honestly the same. And then how to up-level my integrity to stretch and to grow. I need feedback and good feedback. I need encouragement. Okay, so this is a really great question for the calls that we do on Monday. We dive really deep into mindset on Mondays. And I can take this question and we can really, like, if you get on and you ask me live, then we can dig deeper and I can ask you specific questions to dig deeper. But honestly, the truth is, guys, it's none of our business to think about what other people are thinking about us. Because the thing that creates the feelings that we have, the things that create the actions that we take, and the results that we take in our own, or the results that we have in our own life, all come from our own thoughts. And as if we continue to think it matters what other people are thinking about me in order for me to be successful or in order for me to continue, we're going to stay stuck. So we need to just let go of what other people may or may not be thinking. Like, we don't know what they're thinking. We're just making it up in our head. right? And so that's another thing is like, why would we make up these random thoughts that other people might be thinking about us when it's probably not true, right? So often we're not right about what other people are thinking about us.
We live in a reality that is actually an invented reality.
Yep, it's made up.
Yeah.
They're just our thoughts. And even if it's true, even if someone has actually told you that they think something negative about you, right? That doesn't need to affect what you're doing because it is all up here. And so I invite you to come onto the Monday call because really we can dive way deeper into that.
Really quick, there's some people who are maybe new, they don't even know what the Monday call is. So do you want to just break that down?
So on every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, I do a call where you can get on live and raise your hand and ask a specific question that you have in your business that relates to mindset. And so this might be relationship. It might be a relationship discussion. It might be I feel stuck in my business because of this. It might be thoughts that you're stuck around or feelings that you can't get past. But really what we do is we look at the specific details of it and we put it into what's called the model. And honestly, guys, the model solves like every problem. So we will ninja kick your mindset, like limiting beliefs in that call.
And if you want the details for that, reach out on Instagram. Our Instagram's Matt_Seantay, and we can get you added to the text reminders. Will you check Instagram, see if there's any question? If you guys have any questions, those of you who are watching live, we will give priority to your questions. So on YouTube, I'm not seeing any that haven't been answered. Are there any there? No?
Nope.
Okay, let's move on. All right. Right here.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, just sifting through. Some of them are just comments, not questions. So.
Okay, this is a good one. Sarah, how to find your ideal customer or niche when you have always wanted to help everyone?
I love this question because I very much resonate with it. This is how I've always felt. So the truth is, when you are so generic and you're just like trying to reach out to everyone, that nobody really resonates with your message fully. And it's like nice and it's good, but when you are really able to kind of niche down and speak a specific language and speak to a specific type of person, people will just feel it. They'll feel it, they'll feel connected to it, and they'll want to work with you. So that really is the best way to like help people to really feel it and really feel connected to you. And what's great about that is that doesn't like keep you from letting other people that aren't technically in your niche also flow in as well, right? And so there will people that are outside of your actual like ideal customer niche that will also flow into your network.
Yeah. And I think this is a good question, when you think about kind of like marketing yourself, branding yourself online. So if you're doing lives on your Facebook, or if you're doing lives on Instagram, like it is valuable to hone in on one niche because then the algorithms will serve you, right? So certain people who like the same things will end up sharing that conversation with other people who like the same things. And it does help to provide a synchronicity and an amplification to your messaging. But that's not the only way we help people, right? So like if you want to help everyone, then just help everyone. Also, like we build our business a lot also through prospecting, through reaching out to people. And so
referrals.
When you see, referrals. So when you see needs, we meet those needs in our business. We're not like, oh, you're not a part of the yogi sphere, so I'm not going to serve you. Or you're not a part of the pets world, so I only work with people who have pets. Like, no. So I think there can be, if you choose to have this, some, a synchronous messaging in like your lives on your social media platforms. But that doesn't limit you from helping everyone. So you can help everyone just through these other ways, prospecting, asking for referrals, like we said, and other things. So I think that's a great question. Hope that helps. Okay. Let's see, we've got a few more here. Let's see, where do we want to go? One person asked about founders How to become a founder in a new country. And so we can answer that really quick. So for those of you who don't know, each time that doTERRA opens a new market, they open up what's called a Founders Club. So for example, some new markets opening soon are India, Chile, the Ukraine are all on the list to open pretty soon. There's other markets that have opened maybe a year ago, like South Africa, the Philippines, that also still have founders opportunities. Colombia. And so what is a founder? Basically, when doTERRA starts a new market, they start also a race to help with the growth of a new market. And they say, okay, we're going to separate 1% of all of the revenue, the annual revenue that this country does, and we're going to split this 1% of revenue between the founders. Typically, founders are the first anywhere from 10 up to 50 people to rank advance to either gold, platinum, or diamond. Each market, they have a different criteria, and you need to have those teams in that country. So let's say I live in the United States, but I know a lot of people in South Africa. As of right now, I think there's 9 spots left in South Africa. So you would need to have 3 teams that hit Premier that you personally enrolled in South Africa. Okay, doesn't matter what you have.
That would equate to you being a gold in that market.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a diamond in the United States. You would have to be a gold in that market. So it just means 3 people that you've signed up that reach Premier. So each market, it can be gold, it can be platinum, or it can be diamond, depending on the market. And the spots will vary depending on the population of the country. So a smaller country like Portugal, I think, has 10 spots. I think Israel only had like 5, or but then there's China had 50, right? So that's how you become a founder of a country. The only exception is the United States, okay? Where here in the United States, there's a new Founders Club. And honestly, guys, this is one of the biggest opportunities that doTERRA has ever given. And it's a different points-based system where you need 1,000 points to become a founder, and you get points for new enrollments, for getting people on LRP, for helping your new builders reach new ranks, helping your new builders hit power of 3, and etc. So that's like the logistical, and you can look, we have another video on this channel breaking down exactly how to become a founder in the United States. I think there's only, I don't know, I think it's less than 15 founders. I'm not sure the exact number, but there's 200 spots for this new Founders Club in the United States. So it's a huge, huge opportunity. So that's how you become a founder. Hope that, is clear.
Shelby Lewis said, I went to India and Chile. Have friends there.
Well, there you go. Shelby, you could work. And honestly, related to the founders question, some people, usually we don't recommend that you try to become a founder in a country that you don't live in. You can if you choose to, if you really want to hone in on a market.
And work hard on
and we've done that, and it's been great for us. But what's sometimes just as valuable, if not more valuable, is having a founder on your team. In that country. So if you have a founder, if you know someone in India and you bring them into the business and they become a founder, guess what? They need to maintain their rank to get those founders checks, and they're going to be really a big part of that market. And so it can be really advantageous for you to have a solid founder on your team, right?
And it's an exciting thing for those people in that market. Oftentimes, when we would share with these people in these different markets, because right now we're building in India, that there is this founders opportunity, they get really excited about it. They want to run for it. And it becomes just this extra incentive for them to work hard and to make their dreams reality.
Yeah. I'm going to India in February, Shelby, so let's talk. Okay. Any other questions over there? Okay, let's go down this list. So you need to go, right?
Not yet. No.
Not yet? Okay. Let's see here. There was a question about dynamic compression. I'm going to save that for the end. Okay, here's a good question. So, how do you find your people? Are you doing Facebook ads? If so, what are you leading them to? A class? So the question is, how are we finding new people, right? We've been in doTERRA for 9 years now. And we continue every single month to have new enrollments. So how are we finding these people? First of all, there was a question, are you running ads? Currently, and for a long time now, we have not run any Facebook ads. We have experienced and signed up quite a few people using Facebook ads in the past, but ads get progressively more expensive. When you sign up people that are completely cold contacts, where your only interaction with them has been through like email or online,
it's not as good of a...
You don't build as much of a relationship. And so we've found that the more automated our enrollments have been, and we've done quite a few that way, the less duplication and interaction and retention we've had with those specific people. So it's fine to explore those strategies, and we can talk about how to do all sorts of different strategies. But what we found, what we do right now to answer your question, is we do active prospecting on Instagram. So and the first step is to talk to the people that you know personally. Right?
Yeah, if you haven't done that yet, that's the first step.
And honestly, you can get to Diamond just talking to the people that you know, and then working through referrals and getting hostesses for classes from that warm network or warm market. So that's first step, right? That's going to be the most effective. Then we have Instagram prospecting strategies, which we've talked about in other videos, where you're actively starting conversations with people related to the type of content that you're talking about. So if you're talking in your stories about using the oils for kids, you're reaching out to moms and just starting conversations and offering solutions when you find a need. Then another way that we sign up new people is we like to get referrals. So recently I did a post. I was wanting to build a team in Africa. And so I just put on Facebook, I said, hey, I'm going to Mozambique, Africa. Who do I know who has connections with Mozambique? I want to ask them some questions, right? And then from there, they'll tag their friends or whatnot. And then I can get in contact with those people who either live in that country, or that it could be a state, it could be a city. It doesn't have to be a different country. And I can just ask them some questions and say, hey, where's a good place, a good centralized place in this town for me to do an event? Do you happen to know of anything? And I can start to build a relationship, have a conversation with them. And then I can ask them, hey, are you open to earning an extra income? And are you open to looking at what we do with doTERRA? And the person will say yes or no. If they say no, then I'll say, great. Do you know anybody who would be a good fit, right? And we'll ask for a referral. And we just work referrals until we find somebody who's ready to build a business. So that's
next,
another way.
Someone said, Shelby said, is there Colombia? Colombia's open.
Yes, Colombia opened just recently. And yeah, there's still founders positions available in Colombia as well. So and Colombia is a great market. It's a really great market for a lot of reasons that I don't need to go into here. But government-wise, it's a great market for doTERRA to be in.
Any more here?
Yeah, let's go back over here. Specific actions to take daily in order to rank advance. Also build for power of 3 or rank or both. That we already answered. Structure is still one of my gaps. So let's talk about specific actions to take daily in order to rank advance. I think that's a really good question. And it's going to depend a lot on where you are in your journey. Not the specific steps, but the amount that you can plan it out. And so here's an example. Was it yesterday I did the class at doTERRA?
Yes.
So maybe it was the day before yesterday. So we have a girl on our team here in Utah who just started building the business 2 months ago. Okay, 2 months ago. And it's funny because people are always like, oh, like, did I miss the boat for building doTERRA? And, doTERRA started here in Utah, for those of you who don't know. And so a lot of people here have heard of doTERRA. And I did a post on social media saying, some people are asking, did I miss the boat? While we're here building boats. They don't understand that we build the boats. So you never miss the boat. There's always, millions of people who have not yet signed up in doTERRA, no matter where you live.
I just talked to someone on the phone yesterday that had never heard about had never heard of doTERRA.
Yeah, which to us is like crazy, right?
Yeah. At least you've heard of it before, but she hadn't.
Yeah. So we the reason I'm bringing this story up is she was running for Elite. It's her second month in business, and she's running to hit Elite this month. And so what do you do when you're trying to rank advance? Well, first you look at where you are. So if you're starting this month, it is the first day of the month, and you're like, I want to rank advance this month. Let's say you want to hit Premier. The first step is to map out, what do you consistently do in volume? Do you do about 2,000 in volume? Do you do about 1,000 in volume? Do you do nothing? Currently, are you just getting started? And then if your goal is Premier, you can even look in the back office and see LRPs and see how many LRPs and what kind of volume is expected to come in
each area
each team
of your
So like Premier is 2 teams, right, of 2,000 volume each and 5,000 total. So you can see where you are, and that's important. It's important that you treat your doTERRA business like a business, right? You're not just putting in the efforts daily and just posting and praying and hoping that people reach out to you. And you need to have a strategy, right? And this is something you can work out with your upline. But if I wanted to rank advance to Premier and I was doing 2,000 in volume with 1,000 in each leg, then I'd say, okay, I need 1,000 more in this leg, 1,000 more in this leg, and 1,000 in a third leg. So I need to create 3,000 in new volume this month for me to become a Premier. Okay. And then I'd backtrack and say, okay, how many classes, when I do classes, typically how much volume do I bring in? Is it 200 PV? Is it 500 PV? Is it 1,000 PV? It's going to depend on whatever your numbers are, that's what you need to plug in. And that's where it comes back to building this as a business, treating it like a business. Is if you don't know your numbers, then you can't create a plan, right? If you do know your numbers, like this girl, we knew that in this class two nights ago that we needed to bring in 800, sorry, not 8,000, that'd be a big class, 800 in volume in order for her to become an elite. And so we were able to strategize to think of some promotions. And guess what? We brought in 900 in volume, almost 1,000 volume in this class right here in Utah. And we have this brand new elite on our team was signed up by Nash. Shout out to Nash. She's the actual mentor, right? Helping Larissa. But that's the way that I would plan out what I need to do to rank advance. So we can give you daily activities that you should do in your doTERRA business, and maybe we'll do that now. But daily activities to rank advance, it all comes down to what your plan is, how you've planned it out. So that's how I would create the plan to rank advance. No matter what rank you're at, Blue Diamond, you can do the same thing. Right? Presidential Diamond, we do the same thing when we're mapping our month.
Yeah, and that goes into, you have your goal for the month, and then what are your actual do goals is what we call them, is what are you actually doing on a daily basis to make sure that goal that you have is actually achievable.
It's inevitable even.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Right? Like if you have everything lined up, you can really plan it out so that there's no way you don't rank advance.
Yeah, so for an example, I had a goal to go to Europe, and I told Matt I wanted to go to Europe, and he was like, okay, let's get, did you say 10 classes or 7 classes on the books? Yeah. He said, if you get this many classes on the books, we'll go. And so I literally was like, okay, like if I need to get 8 classes on the books, then how many people am I going to need to write? And so I was like, okay, if I write, I'll probably get one person to say yeah for every 25 to 50 people that I write. I don't know. Like, I was just like throwing out.
And she was writing them to ask them to host a class.
Host a class, yep. So I was throwing out a number in there, but I made sure that I wrote hundreds of people in that town and said, hey, I'm an essential oil expert. I'm going to be in your area, and I'd love to. I was reaching out to like yoga instructors and chiropractors and things like that. I would love to teach an essential oil class to your customers or your clients. Or your students, depending on who I was talking to.
And give you a free gift.
And give you a free gift for hosting that class. And I had tons of no's, and I had enough yeses. And we had a great trip. We got tons of enrollments there. So it's basically just saying, okay, like if this is my goal, how many people will I actually need to talk to this month? If I need to talk to this many people this month, how many people should I be talking to daily? Right? And that's do goals each day to try to get to the rank that is your goal for that month. Good question.
We're just smelling out of our diffuser here the new Midnight Forest. Who loves Midnight Forest?
Favorite.
It is so good.
Okay, so we had a question on here that says, do you recommend creating a Facebook group? 4 years ago, I would have said, heck yes. 5 years ago, maybe, I don't know. And now it's different, right? Like, we have seen a big change happen in Facebook where specifically health groups are not prioritized, and where
even suppressed.
Suppressed, yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. And people aren't seeing the posts that you're doing in your groups when you've, even had years and years of work towards making it a good group. So what we're doing is we're using different platforms that actually ensure that our customers or builders, depending on the group that we've set up, are getting the things that we're sharing. So one of those is WhatsApp. We're seeing a lot of people having a lot of success having customer groups or business builder focus groups just on WhatsApp. You can create actual groups where you can do like classes and you can just post in the different things, or broadcast lists where it literally like goes out and sends to each person individually, so it feels like an individual message. Or what we've been using a lot lately for so WhatsApp is usually what we use internationally. I mean, I shouldn't say usually, it is what we use internationally.
Yeah.
And then we've been using Project Broadcast
which we just started using, and we're loving it. So Project Broadcast is basically a software that you can pay for that will send out text reminders. So those of you who are getting the text reminders for this live and getting the text reminders for our product or our mindset call every week, that's how we're doing it. We're using Project Broadcast. You get a new number, and it's super easy, super intuitive. And people are way more likely to open their texts than to find a post
on Facebook
that's being suppressed, or that the way that the feed works, you don't have any control. Whereas we have control that everyone will get a notification when they get a text reminder. So how would that work for like supporting customers? Well, you could have your Zoom classes where you're teaching continuing education and you're sending out the text reminders, and then you're doing all of your community building on Zoom, right, where you can see people's faces, feel the energy, and etc., and they're not distracted by Facebook. So that's one way.
Peters calls her Zoom community room. They just have their community room is their Zoom room, and it's their community room. And so it feels like when you get on the Zoom, you're just getting on to be a part of the community. Which I thought that was
You had another question that came in through Project Broadcast.
We're not using Project Broadcast in Brazil.
No.
I am assuming that's your question.
Yeah, Project Broadcast is only it only works in the US and Canada. I'm sure there's an equivalent, but I would just use WhatsApp
because it's free.
Yeah, in Brazil.
All right, here's a question. And this might be our last question, or you had one more?
Yeah, you do that one, and then then I have the dynamic compression one.
Okay, if you have any last questions, we're going to wrap up here, so be sure to get your last questions in before we hang up. What's your best system or way to follow up with prospects or prospective customers and keeping track of your contacts or touches with them? We have a few ways. Honestly, this is for a lot of people a big headache. It's like, I have all these people that I've shared with. I don't know how to do it. The question is like, do I write lists on paper? Do I keep like some type of program?
CRM.
Yeah.
So what we've done, what's come to work for us, has been a combination of things. And we really will track and keep our lists of prospects typically in the place where they came from, if we can. So as an example, we do a lot of prospecting on Instagram. So on Instagram, we have a separate inbox that's specifically for our prospects, right? And we have a list of prospects. So when we want to follow up, we can just go in that list, chat with people, see where they're at, and serve them, right? Now, depending on if you've updated your Instagram, you might not have the option to have two inboxes. So you can look on YouTube. There's a way to kind of hack it so you can have a second inbox, or you can put people in what are called categories, where you go to a person, you go to their post, you click on the three dots, and you categorize one of their posts, and then you create a name. And then you can go into your Instagram, go into that category, and you'll see all of your prospects.
It's basically like when you just save a post that you like, you can save it in a specific like collection, a folder.
Yeah.
And so you can do like a prospects folder on there and just save people's posts for those people that you're currently in that prospecting phase. And then you would just just go to that folder every day and you just go look at all those people's stories, comment on their stories, like their stories, just keep that interaction.
Giving credit to where credit is due. Shout out to Kyle Kirschbaum who taught me that method. We've just always used the inboxes. So then that's where we keep track of our prospects from Instagram. For international, we have WhatsApp lists where we save to a broadcast list our different prospects from different countries. So we have lists for different countries, and for some countries we have multiple lists because you're limited to 250. So we have a lot of prospects, and with that I actually don't send a lot of messages. When I do like a new video on YouTube or something, I will sometimes send a video to the broadcast list. But one thing that people don't know is if the person hasn't saved your number, then they won't get the message from a broadcast list. WhatsApp, So I also occasionally I'll go in and I'll write each person individually that are on my broadcast list to follow up and check in and see how they're doing, or to send them a piece of content. And then the last way is we have a spreadsheet too that we use for just like people who don't fit into one of those two options. And then I also use paper. So we kind of use a combination of things to track people. And is it messy? Yes, it's messy. Do people fall through the cracks? Yeah, they fall through the cracks. But
usually you use paper when you're doing like a massive blitz.
Yeah.
Right? And then over the next couple weeks, you're using that paper. And then over time, that paper kind of like disappears.
Eventually, my goal is to try to get them either on my Instagram list or my WhatsApp lists. So that's how we do it personally.
Someone just said, can you please save this live? Yes, we'll save it here.
It'll be on YouTube.
And will always be on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
if those of you on Instagram, if you just go to Matt and Seantay Hall is the YouTube channel, you'll find this video there.
Okay, so not save it on Instagram. Just have it saved on YouTube.
Yeah, I think we'll just save it on YouTube.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You had one last.
Oh, yes. Okay, one last question.
Dynamic compression.
We're going to talk about dynamic compression because one person asked, what is a simple way... Okay.
See you guys. Love you. I'll see you next week.
Have fun.
Okay.
Okay, so one last question that came in was a question about dynamic compression. For those of you who don't know, and the question, to summarize the question was, how can I explain dynamic compression in a simple way? So the first thing I want to say about dynamic compression is this is, for those of you who don't know, our the unilevel part of our compensation plan, it pays 7 levels. Now, you can get paid deeper through dynamic compression. So there's some teams, some legs where we get paid down 15 levels, 20 levels or more. And that's because of dynamic compression. So I'm going to explain briefly how that works. Maybe I'll do a separate video where I'll go super in depth, but I want to just give you a little summary of it. Now, what I will say about dynamic compression and the whole compensation plan is you do not need to be able to explain it, or you do not need to even understand it all the way for you to get paid through it. And so sometimes, we have this need where we want to understand like every single detail. And I think that's healthy if you're a details person and you like it. But if not, like I have platinums on my team. I even saw a diamonds presentation recently where when they were teaching the compensation plan, there were things that they taught wrong. And it's just proof that you can get to diamond, you can get to platinum without knowing every little detail of the compensation plan. Okay, so you don't need to know all the details to earn from the compensation plan, but I will share with you some tips. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I'm actually going to share my screen so that I can do this a little bit more simply and you can see the PDF. So let's do this. Okay, so here you're seeing the official PDF of doTERRA's compensation plan. And on the first page, you have, the retail bonus, you have the fast start bonus, you have the power of 3 bonus. And then on the second level, there's this giant graph, right? Which overwhelms some people. But this is probably the easiest way for me to show you dynamic compression, is to break this down for you. So what is dynamic compression? Basically, when a new person places an order, dynamic compression basically promises that 7 different people, doTERRA pays on 7 levels, so 7 different people are going to earn a commission on each order that is placed. Okay. Now, when you look at the unilevel graph, you see downwards 7 levels. So on your first level, you earn 2%. On your second level, you earn 3%. Then 5% on your third level. Then 5% on your fourth level. Then 6% on your fifth level. 6% on your sixth level, and 7% on your seventh level. When you think about dynamic compression, I want you to reverse this and think from the order up. Okay. What you'll see from this graph is that manager gets paid on 2 levels. Director can get paid on 3 levels. Executive on 4 levels. Elite on 5 levels. Premier on 6 levels. And silver on 7 levels. So you unlock all 7 levels of the compensation plan once you reach silver. So silver should be a big focus and a big goal for everyone. Now, how does this work? How does the dynamic compression work? Well, let's say that someone places an order, right? They're going to look first to pay the first person above that order 2%, but obviously it has to be somebody who's doing an LRP of 100 PV, right? So as soon as they find somebody who's doing 100 PV, they can pay out. It's actually 50 PV for this first level, but they'll pay out that 2% to that individual. Then they're going to look for who they pay the 3% to, which is the second level, okay? And managers can get paid on 2 levels. So only a manager would earn that. So if that next person up is not a manager, it's actually the commission is going to skip them. Okay. A director gets paid down 3 levels. Okay. So for the third level, they're going to look for the next director to pay. Okay. Then an executive gets paid down 4 levels. So the fourth person to get paid is going to have to be an executive or above. Now, if there's a director there in the middle, okay, then they're looking for who to pay that 4th level to, they're actually going to skip that director and pay the executive, okay? Because a director can only get paid down 3 levels. So this is how dynamic compression works. It's looking for who to pay up the upline based on who is qualified to earn on how many levels. Okay, I don't know if that's a simple explanation, and I can do a more in-depth video where I share my screen and draw and maybe create a little PowerPoint to break it down a little better. But basically, the simple way to explain this is, look, doTERRA is always paying out to 7 different people, 7 levels, this 2, 3, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7%. And if once you become a silver, you unlock all 7 levels of earning. Okay. And so that's what I would focus on with people who are asking, how does this dynamic compression work? I'd say, well, doTERRA is always going to pay out 7 people. And based on how many levels you're qualified to get paid on, like if you're an elite gets paid on 5 levels, okay? And you have somebody on your 7th level, you're not going to get paid that 7%, right? That 7% is going to go to someone in the upline who's a silver or above. In other words, someone who's qualified to earn on 7 levels, right? So an elite gets paid down 5 levels, right? So that's the way dynamic compression works. I don't know if that was clear. Hopefully it was clear. I'll see on here if there are any questions about that. And if there are any questions about that, then we can break it down further. But that's what I would say. And the simplest way to explain it is doTERRA pays down 7 levels. So if there's somebody who's not ordering, you can get paid down deeper. So if an elite, one more thing I'll share is if an elite gets paid down 5 levels, and there's someone in that 5 levels who is not ordering, then guess what? The elite can earn on their 5th level. They can earn deeper into their organization, right? So that's a little summary of dynamic compression. If you want more details, I can do a more deep, in-depth video about this topic specifically, okay? All right, let's see. Do we have any other questions? I think we're good. So with that, we will be back here. Well, next we have Seantay's mindset call on Monday. If you would like to plug into the mindset call, please write us on Instagram at Matt_Seantay. Send us a DM and we will get you plugged into the reminders or send you the Zoom link so that you can plug into those mindset. And guys, Seantay is a wizard. She's a ninja. She's helping already dozens and dozens of people through this mindset call. It's been really, really, really special to see. And then next Friday, we'll be here again to answer more questions about the doTERRA business. So hope you guys enjoyed this chat here live today. And with that,